for a very nice introduction. I don't deserve to be here as a panel member because when I see it's an opposite concept going on here. Initially, it used to be industry folks sitting here, students and professors asking questions from there. But now it is students sitting here, we have few industry folks sitting here, so I'll take up your question to them, what I can answer, what they can add to that. Is that okay? Okay, so shall we start? Okay, so before want to start this panel discussion, most of your questions are already taken up by Rajiv in your previous session, right? And I know because I was into academics before, so I know what kind of questions, queries generally students, especially from EC department, they have this third year when you are in your final journey that 7th semester will I get a job in EC oriented core engineering stream. If not, what should I do? Where is my TCS of semiconductor? Where is my Wipro of semiconductor, right? That is your general question. Even if your professors would have motivated you, you will be asking them, sir, can you just tell me, we are sitting in Mysore, where is Infosys of semiconductor, right? Will that be a very obvious question? Should I start from that? Okay, so I just start few important targeted specific questions we'll take up to them one by one, okay? So as we all know that things have started changing post-pandemic and pre-pandemic in India, it was not that much relevant. Like he mentioned, your grandfathers won't be knowing about semiconductors. The fathers won't be knowing about semiconductors. Now, every day in news, you find that there is a geopolitical tension going on, supply chains are moving to India, Vietnam, Malaysia, Southeast Asia, there is a diversification going on. TSMC is opening a plant in Arizona, Intel is coming up a plant, someone is coming up in Europe. These are the relevant news from last 2 years, right? So, should I consider saying that is Indian government not doing anything? Are you aware about it? What they are doing? What is going on from last 1.5, 2 years time? Make in India was there from before. PLI schemes. Okay, so I'll give a background to that. There are a lot of things going on. And during COVID, we got this slogan from the Prime Minister saying that we want to become self-reliant, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Right? So under that, if you see, there are so many different verticals. Semiconductor is one vertical. And as he mentioned, that it is not just about producing your mobile phones, laptops, or now it is cars with ADAS and all those things, but it is a very important thing for national security. Yesterday, day before yesterday, in fact, white paper on 6G is released. And we just started 5G rolling out some 6 months back. So now see the importance of your core stream. Okay, you are all EC students, I suppose. Now see your importance. But the question is, are we having jobs? Yes. You ask any one of them, they will say yes. Are we firing people? Answer is no. Is there any recession in semiconductor space? Answer is again no. Okay. Is finding a job difficult? Yes. Finding a right job difficult? Yes. Okay. So for that, what you need, basic thing is, you will be studying in 4 years close to 60 subjects, including your labs. Right? Let's be honest. We all have studied that. Okay. So I define engineering in a very different way. It's 4 years, 60 subjects, break down into each year it is 15 subjects a year. And how much hours you need? You just need 60 nights to get cleared. Okay? 60 nights, 60 hours, 60 subjects, you will have a minimum 65% marks. And that is what all your IT companies want. It is 6.5 CGPA or 60%. Okay? So don't go by that saying. If you want to complete engineering, yes, you can. That is the mantra. But you need to upskill yourself. That is very important. You may have studied your BEE in your first or second semester. Like you just mentioned, about motors. Can anyone tell me what is a stepper motor's role? Where it is used? No, we forgot. That is the answer what our HRs get in interviews. Stepper motor, sir, we studied in first semester. Forget about that. We need that stepper motor, BLDC motor, servo motor in our 8th semester also. Clear? So you have to be very clear on that. So, shall we start with your questions? You have your mic? Okay, who wants to go first? So I don't want to call people by name. You can just start. So whoever is first, you can start. Sit.
Good morning, sir. I am Nirmita from MIT Mysore. Sir, I had one question. That is, VLSI is still research and developing stage, but there are several companies actively working on researching. Then, what are the current challenges facing in VLSI domain?
What are the current challenges in VLSI domain? First thing, as a student's point of view, I need to read so many things. You are talking about research in one side and job in another side. Okay, so I'm just bifurcating them into two. So if you go into core research, like I have done, I've spent time reading research articles. Okay, and not just one or two like your exam point of view. It will be in thousands. You can ask any of your professors who are sitting here with a PhD degree to their name, they would have done the same. So you need to read a lot. Here, coming, what are the challenges in that? See, the things are evolving. There is nothing like that VLSI got saturated. Things are evolving. Yesterday I got a question, in fact, that is also there in this. Someone said, what will happen after 3 nanometer? What will happen after 1.8 or 2 nanometer? What will happen about 1 nanometer? We are going towards SET, single electron transistors. That is 1 nanometer. What after that? Will Moore's law get over? So I'll just give you a quick recap. When everyone in the industry thought Moore's law is to the end, and I was fortunate enough to work with that guy during my 6-month stay in UC Berkeley, and he is Professor Chen Ming Hu. Can anyone tell me who is Professor Chen Ming Hu and why he is famous? That's the thing. So you need to be aware about that. So now when you talk about all these 5 nanometer, 7 nanometer, 10 nanometer, 12 nanometer, 16 nanometer, basically what are those? Those are a type of transistors which are called as FinFET. Okay, and he got that idea when he was flying back to US, and he figured out that people are saying that we cannot scale down Moore's law. He is called as father of FinFET. So all his finding, he just changed the shape of the transistor, and that you are seeing in your cell phone. And that is the race which not many of them are still in that process. There are only a couple of them left in that race. Okay. So what are the challenges? First challenge, I can say, what will happen after when we go below 1 nanometer? So we will have to see 2D materials. We will have to see carbon. We have seen graphene. Okay. So for research, these were a very hot topic way back in 2015 to 2020. Okay. But now that is also getting matured. So as a material scientist, as a electronics engineer, you need to think beyond that. So these are not challenges. I say these are your opportunities. If tomorrow you can come up with a very hypothetical structure where me and Chana can give you a support of EDA tools and you can show that this will work with a very new material, you're good to go. So that this is not a challenge, this is an opportunity. Okay, so I see your challenge as an opportunity. Clear? Because my mind thinks first from a researcher's point of view, then through the industry's point of view. Coming to industry, there are a lot of challenges. Okay, when you do any new node, it comes up with a lot of expenses. Now that we are seeing, we are talking about EUVs. ASML is producing some particular kind of instrument which is getting banned in China. and that is required for your 3 nanometer, 5 nanometers. So again, to answer your mechanical, whoever asked, what is the scope? ASML applied material. They are looking for mechanical engineering students. Okay? So did you get your answer, or should I take it to the industry people to add more to it? Okay, next.
Good morning, everyone. I am Anish from the Vikas Institute of Engineering and Technology. Firstly, I'd like to thank Proxilera for providing this opportunity. And my question is that there are certain scenarios that 3D chips will rule the market in future, overleading the 3 nanometer chips. What's your opinion regarding this?
If you ask my opinion, answer is yes. Because my PhD was on gate-all-around tunneling FET. So I am already into 3D ICs. Okay? So my answer is yes. But will it work out for industry? That we still have to see. And I don't want to, again, like you mentioned, there is a person who will be touching 3D ICs in his talk. So I don't want to reveal that right now. But if you see your memory space, lot of things are moving just from planar or vertical towards 3D. Your SRAMs, MRAMs, DRAMs, they are moving in that space. Okay, so my take is yes. Let's see what happens.
Sure.
Good morning, Good morning, one and all present here. My name is Nidhi. I'm from GSSS IQW. So, if you see any device, everything is automated. We can't imagine our life. It's very tough to imagine without automation. So, what are the current trends in VLSI domain? So, the better scope for employability.
Yes, there is a scope of employability, even if there is automation. So I like to make it very clear to everyone, even if tomorrow there is a chat GPT version of a fab, you still need a brain to run it. Okay? Now that you have a chat GPT, you just dump in some keyword saying that I need a presentation to do like this, I need to send a filing of letter, please send me a polite way to draft it, it is doing it. So I'll give you an example of that. Okay, I'll take a very classic case of Global Foundries. They have a fab in Singapore, and I was trying to get into that fab. Okay, wanted to work for Global Foundries, and it is post-pandemic, pre-pandemic. It is there. So they said, we don't want you to go inside fab. You just have to sit outside fab in some location in our office. It is all automated inside. So your wafer production, everything is automated. So if you would have seen some videos on YouTube, there will be a bucket which will be carrying wafers. Okay, it's a robotic thing which will be just, there are a lot of wires which are going around inside a fab. Okay, so it will be like a train's track which is laid. It will go to the respective place depending on what command you are sitting outside and giving it. So yes, even if you automate everything, you still need people. Why? Because I'll just give you a classic example. When you are doing ion implantation or diffusion, you would have studied those words somewhere. You need to define the dose. You need to tell that instrument how much depth it needs to go. It cannot automatically do it. So you need to define 1 e power 12, 1 e power 13, whatever is your number. That calculation you will be doing. There may be a scenario where tomorrow that may be automated, but again, you need to give data somewhere else. So right now, I'll just leave you with that even if you are using an ion implanter, someone sitting outside, even if he is not allowed to go inside a fab, because the system is automated, is still feeding in numbers. Okay, and feeding in numbers are very expensive. Those people who get paid a very good salary. Okay, why? Because even if they make a slightest of their error, the entire wafer, whatever, there may be a 30 wafer slot or 100 wafer slots, everything will go wasted. And one wafer wasted means millions of dollars wasted. So just think about that. So even if you automate things, you still need someone sitting outside and punching those numbers. That's your answer.
Good morning to one and all present over here. I am Hemant from Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering. So my question would be, which domain would you recommend among analog VLSI, digital VLSI or mixed mode VLSI from a career perspective?
Very good. Good question. This should be your first question, in fact. Okay. So I'll say in terms of what you want to do, where you want to have your own identity kind of thing, analog is the domain. But it is tough at the same time. Okay. But where you have lot of openings, where you have bulk hiring going on, digital is the domain. So you need to decide you want to be one among 100 or you want to be one among thousands. Okay, based on your interest, plus you need to see that which domain you are good at. You cannot just say that, oh, I'll do some 50% analog, 50% this, and tomorrow I'll go for interview. For example, Proxerella is hiring, and they will ask you simple questions. You will say that, sorry boss, I don't know. So,
Second semester.
yeah, studied in second semester. These are the answers, right? So, bulk hiring is in digital, specific hiring, but like making a mark is in analog. Remember that. Analog is tough, that is why people don't turn towards that side. Okay? And I'll tell you, I leak out a question paper from analog domain. Okay? I was there with one of our HR and we were hiring for our analog team. They said, I'm just giving you a simple RC circuit. Can you make it? We just gave specs, you have to draw the RC circuit. RC circuit, third semester, EDA or EDC, whatever is your subject name, whatever is there, that is there. Just take it up to one more semester, fourth semester, analog is already there. So RC circuits are there. And it is being asked in your 8th or 7th semester program. Clear? So analog opportunities are less, it is tough, digital numbers are high.
And salaries are higher too.
Pardon?
Salaries are higher too.
Yeah, salaries are higher for analog guys. Okay? I want to show you a graph. Okay, later, once we finish this, I'll show you a graph. That is where I'll end this panel discussion. I'll show you a EC versus computer science salary change graph. Okay? That is very important because you may be having your senior saying that, hey, don't go into VLSI. You are just getting 2.5, 3 lakhs, where someone is offering you a 6, 7 lakh as a BTech fresher or 8 lakhs. But I'll do a breakdown of that later on. Okay?
Good morning, one and all present here. My name is Kirtana and I'm from ATME College of Engineering. So we just know the architecture of VLSI. So in that particularly, design verification is the most important step to the development of a product. And coming to physical design, it's also an important step which transfers the front-end design of a structural netlist to the back-end design. So among this, which is the better scope in VLSI? Design is verification or physical design?
I'll say both. Don't go by seniors saying that PD is only having scope. Okay, I say both. See, I just like to make sure that if you take any stream in this ecosystem across industry, okay, I'll come back to your question, PD versus that. If you see anything, and now that we have fabs and all coming up in India, do you really think that there is no scope in there is only a scope in one domain and there is no scope in other domains? No. The answer is big no. Okay? But you need to identify your strength, your weakness, and based on that, you need to target your job profile. Okay? Chemical engineering. Last week there was a conference in IISc. We had a panel of 5 people, and you will not imagine we are talking about semiconductor fabs in India. The topic of that Entire workshop was semiconductor fabs in India. Inox Air. What are they doing? They supply oxygen, nitrogen. Those are the gas companies. Turbo motor, vacuum pumps. Those were the panel members. So, coming to where is my scope? Scope is everywhere. You need to keep your eyes wide awake and see what is the recent trend going on. It will see, every industry goes with a cyclical pattern. Sometimes it is up, sometimes it is down. I agree to that. And everyone will agree. But if you see IT sector for especially, it will have a very huge peak. The crest and the trough will be very high. If layoffs are going on, in lakhs. If hiring is going on, in lakhs. Cut to semiconductor. Hirings are going on. Can you tell me how many people are there in current Indian semiconductor industry? 3K to 5K. My company itself is having more than 5K. They are having a bigger number. In India. No. How many people are there in India, especially with VLSI as background? Engineers. Any numbers? Any idea, students? Any idea from back? We have just 65,000 engineers. Vis-a-vis, a TCS or a CDS would be hiring 6,500 from one campus. Okay? So now see, coming back to that, government's 21 to 26 initiative is we want 85,000 manpower. So we are jumping from 65 plus 85. So see, doubling the number, more than double. Okay? So that is the requirement. There are a lot of initiatives across that. PLI, C2S, all those things are part of it, DLI schemes. But when we go out in market, we don't get well qualified professionals. What do I mean to say that? Well qualified, we get such type of answers that I studied in this, I don't know about it. Okay? RC, RLC, add a diode to that, your electronics completes. So you just need to know 4 components, R, C, L and a diode. Right? So you need to make sure that these things you are revising. So if you see your GATE syllabus for MTech, that is again, it is not asking you satellite communication or computer network in much bigger marks versus your digital electronics, analog electronics, digital communication, analog communication, B2B, EDA, EDC. So these 5 subjects are your 80% of the syllabus. LIC, network theory, all included in that. So you need to make sure. So PD versus design verification, both things have opportunity. Okay, he will be touching on to that. He is doing pure PD. He will be discussing pure PD in his 30 minutes talk. Next.
Morning everyone. I am Suhas Sandeep from the National Institute of Engineering, Mysore. So I'm medical. I was a medical aspirant in 2020, and I lost my medical seat by 6 marks. As I had an interest in electronics and this stuff, I inevitably made my mind to join engineering in electronics. So after the third semester, when we were introduced to digital electronics and Verilog, that is when I got real interest in engineering, and I made my mind to do something great in the field of VHDL and VLSI. So the thing here is, I'm the son of a soldier, and I always wanted to contribute something for like medical industry. So what's the scope of this VLSI in medical and DRDO services?
Good question again. So medical electronics, adding sensors to that, that is having a bigger market I can say. Okay. If you see biosensors are now relevant, so that is again related to your field. DRDO or to say ISRO, they are all working in some corner of India on those lines. Okay, so you need to figure out, you have to stick with sensors because, for example, now there is this Shark Tank India going on, right? Second season just got over. First season, if you go back and see, Triple IT Delhi, a professor from computer science department, he came up with a vest suit, especially for sports people, with all sensors attached to it. And it can do, if you are a cricket player or a bowler, it will take how much tilt you have, what is the effort. If you are a tennis player, all the sensors. So again, medical is getting involved in that. He being a computer science professor. So there is a relation not just for computer science or medical electronics, because now it is like this industry, everything is interlinked. You can be from any department of your core engineering, but you will still come and contribute to the major thing. So medical is a big thing. Sensors especially. So you can come up with any kind of sensor, gas sensors. In order to safeguard this room, we have this fire alarms, you can have gas alarms, sensors. Already a lot of work have been done in those areas. Go to medical hospitals, you see a lot of new instruments coming up. Again, electronics is the brain behind that. It may be doing an ECG or it may be doing an EEG. The graphs, whatever PQ, RST you are getting on an ECG thing, but machine is again now electronics or electrical, but working in medical too. So there are a lot of things in that. Okay, lot of startups are working on that. So make sure that when you are looking out for your opportunities in such area, don't miss out these startups. Okay, lot of startups are working in this particular area. DRDO, yes, they are also doing it. DRDO's thing is not out in open. They don't do that because it is a very sensitive matter, especially for national security. But our DRDO should be like the DARPA of USA. Right? So they do everything, but it is not out in open. So they are also working on that. Okay. Another thing is, if you see this packed food, MTR, ready to eat, and all those things, they are all brainchild from these DRDOs, because it was mainly for the soldiers who are going to the borders. Right? So again, you need to see what is the preservative added, how it is having a medical benefit to it. So you still need a doctor or a nutritionist to certify that whatever food you are making is good enough. Yeah, so scope is always there.
Thank you.
Yeah, he wants to add something.
Just one example for you is a hearing aid. So I thought of saying that because hearing aid has everything you can think of, both in terms of your digital signal processing as well as VLSI, product design, everything. So that's a very unique example that we can give.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Akhil from BBC and my branch is CSE AIML actually. So as someone who is not into EC, what role do we CS or IS students have in VLSI domain? And does AIML, is AIML required for VLSI domain?
You have a very big role to play. Okay, I'll not disappoint you by saying that we don't have any opportunities for CSE people. You have a huge role to play. Okay, he's from NVIDIA. Okay, so I'll just give you a simple example. How many of you are in gaming? Okay, for your GPUs and all, what do you use? NVIDIA's chipset, right? How they are increasing the capability. They are not going and playing with you. There may be 2 or 3 guys in their team who will be just testing it. They get regular feedback. AIML is that feedback mechanism. It requires a data set. The data set is there. Your machine will automatically pick it up, right? So AIML is having a scope. CSE students are having a scope, especially in this semiconductor ecosystem. I'm not pinpointing and saying any one industry, It can be NVIDIA. Tomorrow it can be someone else. I give you our company's requirement. Yes, we are also doing on security. Cyber security is a major thing. Ask any of them, they are all working on cyber security somehow. Cyber security, we are not going and hiring electronics students. We are hiring CSE graduates. And if it is a CSE plus AIML who knows something about that, it's an added advantage. It adds to your resume. So AIML will be there. We require them. And your next question was role of CS and IS plans. So I've covered that. Cyber security is one key area I can mention that. Like that, we have so many things. Yes, next.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I am Sabit Bhattayan from NI Mysuru. Sir, let me start with the scenario. This is something related to me, sir. During my third semester, I was interested in analog circuit design, but later, as I was exposed to analog HDL and digital VLSI, I found these two branches to be fascinating. So now I made my mind to pursue my career in digital VLSI itself. Now, what my question is, what does a company expect from a fresher? What technical expertise is being expected from companies from student side?
Okay, so if you want to get hired, I would rephrase your question. If you want to get hired in your VLSI companies, what is the minimum requirement? Okay, I will not specifically say for analog or digital or your basics, your fundamentals. If your fundamentals are clear, no one is asking you to tomorrow go and launch a satellite. No. Okay, no one will ask you that question. Everyone will ask you the basic fundamental questions, and that is where we are missing out. To be honest, as a student, we are missing out on our fundamentals. We just prepare for exam over, we pass, subject over. That will not work, and that will never help. Okay? So again, go back to your RLC. Binaries to octal, octal to binary, hexadecimal to those conversions. What is LIFO, FIFO? Those things. What is the bubble sort? Where you have studied? Are you studying bubble sort in your 6th semester, 7th semester or 8th semester? Again, fundamentals. Okay? So questions can be around those lines. So you need to be very strong in your fundamental. I'll give you an example. I just shared today morning. When I was doing my PhD, my professor said, and I was in my 4th year, about to graduate, he said, go and test your waters. Give interviews to companies. And Taiwan, it is very open like that. Even if you are not interested to join, you can still participate in open houses and all those things. So I applied for a company, I got shortlisted there. That too, I get an email saying that you can present anything, we'll ask from your slides. I said, very good. I don't have to prepare anything outside my slides. And that is one thing which you should be very clear. Whatever you are putting in your slide, you should know inside out about that. So I was doing something on 5 nanometer gate all around thing. This guy sitting in US, he asked me a simple question. You are talking about 5 nanometer, tell me what is short channel effect. Okay, what are the types of short channel effect? I just remember 3, there are 6. He said, please go and revise your fundamentals. Okay, so this is a very basic thing. You should know about what you are putting on your slide, what you want to do. And that company is only doing this 5, 3, 1.8, 2 nanometer kind of thing. So they are looking for engineers for that kind of role. They are not asking you to go and talk about 180 nanometer or 45 nanometer high K and all those things. So if you see those things, you should be very clear in those fundamentals. And this is a very fundamental question for any VLSI or a semiconductor guy. What are short channel effects? Types of short channel effect, how will you avoid them? So you got the answer. So fundamental is the basic thing. And I have to tell you what is the salary package, which I just missed it. That was 36 lakh per annum. Okay, now you can debate saying that, sir, we are BTech students and you were doing PhD. Still, you will start greater than your 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 7 lakh regular package of computer science and IT. I'll vouch on that. Numbers will be double digit at least, and they are looking for these. If you want to name me the company, I can name it offline later. Yes? Next.
Good morning, everyone. I am Neerja from Vidyavadaka College of Engineering. So my question is there any opportunity for freelancing in this field?
Answer is yes and no. I did freelancing. But answer big no, because even if you want to do freelancing, you need to have some technical know-how. If you don't know that, no one will be offering you those freelancing jobs. Yes, you can go and develop websites, you can write some codes for gaming and all those things. That is another side of the spectrum. You can do photography and all those things. That is another side of the spectrum. But for this industry, answer is no. Until unless you have some technical know-how. If you have technical know-how, answer is yes. Okay? So, but you should know it like tomorrow you are going to join a company. As a freelancer, you are going to join a company. Company may come up with any demand. You need to fulfill it on a time-bound manner. So, if you don't have that technical know-how, answer is no. But if you have that technical know-how to do things as per the requirement, you have opportunities. Where do you find my opportunities? Not on Upwork, not on freelancing's websites. You will find on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is one platform where you will find all these things coming up. I got my freelancing thing, which I worked for more than 1.5 years while doing my PhD. And it was again using my TCAT simulator, and my professor was okay to that. There was no conflict of interest. So answer is yes. If you know the technical know-how, a big no.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ashwin from HDC. So my question is regarding placement. In placement scenario, the package is initially very less. So how can I gain interest in those people who don't have interest in VLSI?
Okay, so the initial package is less. Yes, I agree to that. I'll just give you a simple example. Yesterday we were discussing on our dinner. TCS generally hires you into TCS and TCS Ninja. Everyone will be aware. Offer is like 4.5 to 5, visa is 7, 7.5, 8, depending on college and those things. Whereas a company, let us take it from our, say for example, Tejas Network, Sankalp Labs, they will be coming up with say 3, 3.5, 4. And you will say that if I can clear those extra 5, 10 coding questions and get that 8 versus Tejas Network or Sankalp Lab 3.5, 4 lakh offering, what will happen? Is it motivating, demotivating? It is demotivating initially for a student. Yes, I accept that. But you need to see what goes behind the scene. You know some coding, you can be a EC, CSC, IT, civil, or a BSc graduate. You are still fit for TCS, Infosys Wipro. Right? You can be a developer, you can be a coder, you can be a BPO, KPO guy, all with same company, same brand name. Okay, I'm working in TCS for their BPO side. I'm working in Infosys for their KPO side. No one is coming where you are working. I'm working in Infosys. That is my answer. Why? Because they just need a graduate student who can understand what in the training period of 6 months, which is not that hi-fi kind of thing, can get used to it quickly and deliver it. But when you come to our industry, these companies who offer initially less, they have to train. And training is not just a generic training which can be taken by any XYZ. It requires a particular type of training for a particular type of candidate. Again, digital versus analog. Analog company will go in one way. They have to spend more resources on that. So that becomes a challenge for a company. So that is why you see these numbers a very lower side when you start. But if you are there in 5 years in that industry versus your IT sector or computer science related MNCs, graph changes exponentially. And that also gives you a much better scope even if you want to switch your job. Okay, so I may would have start like 3 lakh, 3.5 lakh, but after 5 years I would be somewhere around 7 or 8 lakhs in our core domain. But when I make my first switch, I may go up to 20-25 lakhs. You can, that time also we are still almost at par with CS and IT. You will find those people are also in that range. Spend another 2-3 years, there is a big change like this. So the divergence is huge, and we go up like a hockey stick and they continue like this. So you can ask any one of them. Okay? Experience is same for all these industry folks. You would have started low, understood, but growth is very high. Yes, next.
Sir, there's still a scope for VLSI in the upcoming era of qubits and ULSI.
Yes, there is a scope, and there will always be a scope. So let me make one thing very clear to students. Students, before I go into qubits and ULSI and all those things, now we are talking only about VLSI first. Okay, and so we would have studied SSI, MSI, LSI, VLSI, USI, and GSI, all those things, right? Are we good enough even in our VLSI domain to move to ULSI? If you see the entire landscape of this industry, or if you have read across this Mysore semiconductor thing, Foxconn Vedanta thing in Gujarat, upcoming announcement very soon again from one of our MNCs. They're not talking about 3 nanometer, 5 nanometer, 7 nanometer in India. This just contribute only 15%. It's a rat race. Okay? Intel lost it at around 10 nanometer and they are now trying to come back. TSMC, Samsung kept on doing it. Now one is again out. Only TSMC is the bigger leader in that space. And it will continue. But if you see your 180 nanometer, you will say, sir, you're talking about 20 years old. You see your ADAS and all, they are all working on 65 nanometers, 90 nanometers. They are not asking you a 3 nanometer node devices to go into these things. That alone constitute 85% of your total revenue. This 3, 5 nanometer, 7 nanometer is only 15%. So now see, if I as a startup or as an entrepreneur, as a big think tank in a very big organization have to focus, my focus will not be there. Especially in terms of India. My focus will be how will I get this 65 nanometer mature node, a 180 nanometer mature node. They have various applications. So we are still not over with our VLSI thing. Quantum is an upcoming thing. It will come. It is not yet mature. These are all mature technology. Your 45s, your 90s, your 180s, they are all mature technology. Quantum, photonics, these are all your upcoming areas. 2D materials. Okay? So we still need to work on it. It is not like we don't want to focus on those areas, but opportunities will be limited as of now. ULSI is another decade far away. Because we are using ULSI in different way. So if you want to say that we are having large scale integration, very large scale integration from 100 to 1000 transistor to million transistor to a billion transistor, what else? A trillion transistor. They are almost there. All these high power computing and all these gaming things, they are using those kind of capacities. So we are already there in that space. But if you want to say it on a platform where it is a very mature kind of thing, it will take time. So it is having a scope.
Hello. My question is, if one wants to set a startup in VLSI domain, what are the challenges he or she will face?
Contact the guy sitting there from Safal. Okay? Contact the guy there. So that is having a scope in purview of India's landscape. For startups, we have a lot of things. And organizations like these, accelerators like these, they are playing a very major role. So if you want to do a startup, contact onto there. So I'll just show you something. This is how your salary changes for your VLSI versus IT. Okay, the green color is your VLSI engineer versus the black color is your IT engineer. Okay, so and it's out there open. You just need to figure out.
So my another question. What is the major impact of VLSI technology on emerging applications like IoT, edge computing, and autonomous systems? And what exactly the IoT and edge computing and autonomous system means?
So IoT is what? Internet of Things. If you just expand those things. So yeah, if I want to break it down, what is IoT as a for my students? Using something and everything is working based on my internet. Right? I am making a smart home. If I give a command to Alexa, turn on my light, it's again IoT. Okay? But again you require internet for that. So it is Internet of Things. So when you do that, you have lot of things coming up. Now if you see in Bangalore, there are a lot of residential towers coming up as smart homes. And they're way too pricey. But it is the need of the hour. Tomorrow, it is there in US, it is there in Europe, it is there everywhere in Southeast Asia and all those places like Japan and all. It is also coming into India. So scope is always there. Will it work or not? We are still debatable for India's perspective. Okay, a Tesla may be good for US, may or may not be good for India. Okay, that is debatable. We don't follow the lanes. We have ADAS system coming up with Mahindra, XUV 700 and all those things. Now all of them are jumping into that system, that ADAS system thing. So it will keep on coming. So like that, all these IoT things will keep on coming. I am pretty sure that your faculties will be doing some minor projects, workshops, IoT based workshop, project. Simple example will be how will be my water tank, which is located 2 floor, 3 floor above, automatically it should sense that the water level is full, motor is off, right? Again, it's an IoT. So there are sensors involved in that. Sensors will communicate to the center core processor. Processor will require your internet. It will do on and off kind of thing. So IoT will be there. So IoT with electronics, yes, we are already into that era. IoT into the semiconductor space, yes, we are into that. You give a command, your lights are turning on of your vehicle. You may be sitting somewhere else. IoT is there. Connected car technology. IoT. Talking cars. IoT. What is talking car? Talking car is if two cars are going together, they need to communicate between them. I need to keep a safe distance. Avoid collision. It's a talking car concept. Okay. So those type of things are already there. IoT is already there. Are we using it? Yes, we are using it. But we are not specifying and saying that, oh, this is IoT device, this is IoT thing. No. Edge computing and autonomous systems, already they are coming up. Tesla being a very good example. Will it work in India or not? Not sure. Yes, we are seeing a lot of these reels and all people are making with Mahindra's car. Autonomous system is there. Forget about that automobile space. Even in my foundries, it is all automated now. So autonomous systems are there. Coming to your edge computing, yes, how many gamers are there in India? How many online games are played? Multi-level gaming is done. All requires a high power computing facility. Contact NVIDIA for that. Okay, so these things require again this. See, these are your buzzwords: IoT, AI, ML. But we have been using it for over 10, 15 odd years. Okay, so if you deep down, if you dive it, you will see that oh, it is already there in my system. So that's the answer.
morning everyone. My name is Nilu Parajan from Maharaja Institute of Technology, Tandavpura. So my question is, what is the role of VLSI in addressing the societal challenges like healthcare and sustainability?
We are doing it. Sustainability is a very good topic. We are all reducing our consumption, CO2 emissions, water consumption. So, for example, if I have to use one single 12-inch wafer, we were using somewhere around 70 liters or 70 gallons of water for that processing entire thing on that 12-inch. Now it has come down to 40. So sustainability is going on. A major challenge for these semiconductor fabs is water. They require lot and lot of water, gallons and gallons of water. Okay, and it is like not just your normal pond water or something. It is deionized water, this water, that water. So many different waters come into picture. That's again a good startup idea. If you can provide these things, a big plant, you will still have it. So sustainability is key thing. If you see Tata is also using Tata Power to do all this solar paneling and all those things. So sustainability is going on in semiconductor industry. So making a solar panel, you again require semiconductors. So you are connected not directly but indirectly. So sustainability is key thing, which is already in the industry. And what was the second thing? Healthcare. Healthcare, we are already doing it. I have already explained for that sensors, hearing aid, you mentioned. Prosthetics. Now people are making smart prosthetics. So it can be a smart nose. If you met with an accident, they need to do some implantation or something on your face. They are already working on those things. So there is a thing. In fact, when I went to NJIT way back, first thing what my professor told was, you see a smartphone. And that time we were just doing this 3.2 megapixel cameras. Now see what is the cameras, 108, right? Those are, okay, pixel viewing and all those things is a different story, but the numbers are very high. 50, 40, 48, 50, 100, 108, those are the numbers which you are seeing. So cameras are becoming much more efficient. Smartphones will not be able to replace cameras. They may or they may not be, but what is the role of a smartphone? If I see something, take it out, take a snap. There I will not go find a Canon or a Nikon, put all my lenses, perfect lens, this much aperture, that. We are not doing it. Take Pixel for example, Google Pixel. Everything is all back computation going on for just this photography kind of thing. So you may find all those things coming up. So he used to say that we have 5 senses in our human body and smartphone is having 4 senses. You can hear, we have a speaker. You can talk, we have a microphone. You can touch now, it's a skin. Okay, so and a camera to see. So 4 we are covering. 5th one is your smell. If you are able to transfer your smell, good to go. Next.
Why the delay declaration has a description of which can't be synthesized?
So the answers are there. Okay. So this is just a very targeted specific question. You can always do that. So those things, I am sure that you can always address it when we talk about from an industry's point of view. But for your mini projects and all, yes, it's a major challenge. So, stay.
So does AML affects VLSI?
No. Let me make it clear again. It will not take your jobs. We have this thing that AIML has come, it will take my job. No, it will not take it. I give you an example. Global Foundries, everything is automated, but someone is putting numbers. So you cannot replace that guy. Okay, tomorrow you may bring a robot. But again, to make a robot, you need someone. So it will not replace that thing. You can make your ChatGPT as much capable as you want. But you have seen, Indians are very smart. ChatGPT failed in IAS exams. So you cannot replace that thing. Okay, it will help you enhance your capabilities. It will improvise it to a certain level that which now you would be thinking that it is way off, way far. You can do it in a very quick fraction of time. It will enable those things. a simple calculator. When it came, people thought that they will use retention, memory calculation. Now people are using it. Computers came. You used to do all the data entry using hand. Excel is there. Just type, click, sheet is ready. So now see, you can do more than double, triple kind of work using the same thing. So AI/ML will also help you do that. It will enable you. It will not take away your opportunities. But for that you need to upskill yourself. Just saying AI/ML, but you don't know Python or C++ basic will not help you. Right?
Excuse me, just one comment I wanted to make. Sorry to interrupt the flow. AI/ML seems to be a very common buzzword and common theme in a lot of these questions. One thing, at least, I don't know, they may not know, AI chips is a new domain that there is a lot of focus. A lot of investments is happening for chips specifically for AI domain. So somebody with AI knowledge, AI ML knowledge can be a very valuable asset when developing these type of VLSI chips. So when you develop chips, the domain knowledge is actually comes very handy. When you're developing a chip for a medical industry, when you're developing a chip for a gaming industry, the flow of implementation may be the same, but at architectural level, lot of decisions get made based on that specific domain. So AI/ML, if it is growing, it's actually, your awareness about the domain can be a valuable asset that you can bring to VLSI industry. So it's not going to take away your job.
So, what's your story of getting your first job in VLSI soon after your graduation?
So this is not my first job. Yes, as an industry point of view, it is first. So my journey is different, not like them. So I did my BTech, Masters, no gap, continuously. Went on to do my PhD, again continuous, no gap. Postdoc, continuous. I wanted to pursue my research career, and Taiwan is a heaven for that, I can say that. Okay, I've spent 8 years there, and for me it's a heaven. If I am an electronics or electrical engineer or a CS graduate, it's a place to be. You have all these companies, entire ecosystem in a very small, tiny island. So I was very sure I'll take this path. In between, I got a chance. So see, you need to identify where is your opportunity, what is your strength or weakness. That's very important. I got a chance where the president of the university, here we say the chancellor, right? The highest person is the chancellor or someone. So he called up because there was a government change in Taiwan. They came up with a anti-China policy. That's what they came. So they said, we want to target all the Southeast Asian countries who are having some issue with China. That was their thought process. So India being a very major country in that. Vietnam, another one. Japan, another one. Singapore is a battlefield where everyone comes, West and East come, settle down all their issues. Okay? So they said that how much money you want from government side, we will roll out. We will dole it, in fact. You want 1 billion, we will give you 1 billion. But we need this engagement. So our university, because we are the pioneer of semiconductors in Taiwan, so we got that, you take this to India. So President called me with the Vice President who was my professor, along with all the Indian students who were studying. So what is the requirement, how we can make use of this opportunity from the government. So everyone said we can do this, do this, do this. We started initially, didn't work out. And after 3 months of time, we figured out that what are the things required. So I came up with a proposal saying that these are the minimum requirements which we need to offer. That is how you can bring Indian universities into the system. We got it done, so I got shortlisted. So from 2015, I was running this program as a student while doing my PhD. So I used to visit India every month twice. And I know how taxing it was. One side is your research going on, one side is this. and it gave me this opportunity right now where I am sitting in Synopsys. So I used to connect universities there. Now my role is as a university program manager. Even though I have all my technical backgrounds and all those things, but I like to do this role. Awareness is one thing which I want to promote, especially for students, because in between I got 2 years time to be with students, to see academia very closely. Before that, I used to see academia from different point of view, from University of Taiwan's point of view. Now I was seeing academia from Indian perspective. So that's how I ended up into this role. And you don't require anything fancy if you want to go into this industry. Again, fundamentals, and if you have extra skill set, that will give you different opportunities. So like that, all our industry folks, we are having these different programs you may not even think of. Why does an industry academia, they need a dedicated person? Higher management is thinking something different. Same is with their companies. They are also having such kind of program. They are doing campus connects. HRs are getting involved. So a lot of things are there in this. So that's how I ended up in this.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Archana from G2 plus ITW Mysore. Sir, my question is, how do you overcome the short channel effect?
Reverse short channel effect. Put a halo implant. That's it. Simple answer.
So, how do you overcome the short channel effect at the lower processing technology?
Answer will be starting from that only. Reverse short channel effect is putting a halo implant. If you are having a N type, put a P type. Just opposite to that. And then you want to scale it down to any node further, yes, you can still do it. So the answer is reverse short channel effect. One liner. How do we do it? Just put an opposite polarity to that. A N and a P. A P or an N. You can do it.
Sir, can you please some open source software to do timing analysis and synthesis from VHDL?
So I'll not just say open source. There are so many things in open source available. In fact, in IIT Hyderabad last year there was a workshop, and that finishing school is only using open source platform for all its activity. It was again for analog and digital both. So open source tools are there. But if so, for example, you are talking about HDLs, be it VHDL or Verilog. If you are learning that thing in your lab, and if you know the flow, that's more than important. No one requires you to be a very big expert in doing all those things using an open source. Because every EDA company, be it Synopsys or Cadence or Mentor, they have their own platform, but your fundamentals should be there. So you don't have to go into that open source arena much, but if you can do, so for example, I'm not sure what you're using in your Verilog. Vivado, right? They are using Vivado, again from Xilinx or those things. But you should know how should you write. You should not miss out those semicolons. Okay, if you are using your Vivado software, that is very important. If you miss a semicolon, you lose your, everything starts becoming red. So that's the answer. You don't have to go to open source.
Sir, I have another question. In apps, so to manufacture a chip, it requires continuous gallons of water, right? So how are these things being mitigated in such a way that it won't affect the water supply system for the public? Like as in if ISMC comes in Mysuru, now large amount of water has to be supplied to that factory itself. Now, does this guarantee that there won't be any water supply shortage? And also another question is, you say these a lot of chemicals are being used, a lot of gases. So how are these things? How are the effluents being treated in an efficient manner? Because production is all about making profit also. It's all about running costs and other stuff. So how are these things being looked after? And also, following to that question, can recycled water be used in fabs?
So already I have touched on those lines, especially big plants, they have their own recycling mechanism. They have brought down the percentage by up to 70%. That's the 2022 figures. Okay, and environment is one of the key aspects, affluents and all those things. So there are a lot of research going on. They treat the water and they recycle it. A very small amount of it is only going out. Yes, the consumption will go up, especially if you want to say in terms of Mysore's. So if you see this thing, any fab, tomorrow if I wear a hat of say TSMC will first come and say to the government, I need three things: water, electricity, stable power, and force. Right? So these things will be there, and everyone knows about that. So if Mysore is chosen, can you? So I'll just give a very simple answer. You have Kaveri River. Okay, water is there. Water is sufficient. In fact, yesterday while coming, I saw the pipeline which is going on your highway, the water pipeline, right? So Mysore has that capability. It may not be possible in Bangalore, where the water levels are down and all this, but Mysore has those things. So yes, the consumption will go up. Will it affect the society? No. Until unless there is some kind of calamity kind of thing, some COVID kind of scenario comes up, which is unavoidable, then answer may be yes. But all these agencies, they do lot of planning before coming up to any location. They know that there is ample amount of water, what they require, and it will not affect the population. Or the government itself will not approve it. Yeah? So it will not affect any of those things. Now you can say what they are coming up in Dholera. If you see Dholera's geography, there is no water. In fact, Gujarat had this issue way before. Now they are bringing in water. So there are mechanisms. Sustainability is always primary when you talk about these fabs. They always want to make sure that if I can anyhow use recycling in some aspect, they will be happy to do that. So they change these numbers. Numbers are like 40% now in terms of water. It is going to 70% in some areas. Like in 2015, there was a water scarcity in Taiwan. TSMC being using it, and what they have done is they have made lot of artificial lakes, and the major source is rainwater. So they collect that, and that goes only to TSMC. It is not going to the general public. Plus, salt water conversion is also there. So these companies, they come up with these grand plans and they execute it. So there is always these things. So we don't have to worry about those things when these things are coming into our locality.
So as we can see, the smaller the chips are getting, the more powerful and the more power efficient they are getting. And Qualcomm has already come down to 4 nanometer processing, and Intel is still trying to catch up, whereas AMD Ryzen is around 5 nanometer at the moment. When and how do you think maximum efficiency can be achieved?
So it is again like chicken and egg. Okay, I need power or I need efficiency on one side, or I need to see the bigger market. So there will be companies who will be doing it. They will be making it smarter and smarter. Okay, as I talk about smarter and smarter means I am adding more number of transistors. More number of transistors means my power requirements go up, but my efficiency increases. So there is always like chicken came first or egg came first. So how will I manage this power versus efficiency kind of thing? This will keep on coming, and it is there from long time. All industry folks, they know how to mitigate this thing. So that is only specific for some application where you need, I may compromise on power, where I need a very high efficient chip. I may compromise on my power. Compromising means it won't be that much big difference that my power efficiency is very poor. But my processing efficiency is high. I may compromise on that. Vis-a-vis, there will be someone who will say that my power efficiency is good, my working efficiency is not, performance efficiency is not that great. So depending on what application you are looking for, we will be able to mitigate that. So there won't be anything. Yes, these are challenges, and that is where the R&D comes into picture. So R&D's main role is to help solve these issues. So he will be addressing that when he is taking his computational side of it. Any other questions? Anyone from the audience, students who didn't come to the panel?